It wasn't the most easy ball game. It wasn't the easiest by any stretch, but the New York Metropolitans get the job done. They absolutely beat up, they destroy GERRIT Cole and the New York Yankees and win by a final score of 9-7. How's it going, all you amazing Mets fans? It's your boy Wardy, and we're back at it with the latest post-game segment as the Metropolitans defeat the New York Yankees in Game 1 of a two-game set here in Flushing, Queens by a final score of 9-7. In today's show, we're going to break down everything that transpired to an absolute T in this matchup, as we always do, everybody, so make sure you're on the lookout for it as we're going to break it down here shortly. We're going to get into everything on the highlights, of course, as I have for you guys all queued up, as we always do. David Peterson striking out everyone and their mother. On the offensive end, we are absolutely drilling. It is batting practice against GERRIT Cole. We're going to get into the pitching, we're going to get into the offense and everything in between, but first and foremost, to everyone first chiming in live on a replay, happy to have you all in here. Make sure to spam those W's in the live chat here live on YouTube, and if you're watching on Twitter, hit that like, that follow button, that retweet button. But no, as always, we will only be interacting with our live viewers here on the YouTube platform, and yes, folks, we will be taking live callers tonight. I want to hear from you amazing Mets fans after a dominant victory like this one, your biggest takeaway. And I know, again, it was sweaty, it was easier said than done, but the Mets got the victory, they did what they needed to do, and now they look for a two-game series set sweep against the Yankees tomorrow against the flamethrower in Louis Heel. Spam those W's in the chat, everybody. Again, no matter if you're watching live or on replay, in the comments down below. We're going to get to your live callers after I break down everything that transpired in the ballgame and my initial reactions, along with all the latest updates on the Metropolitans, and I will probably cut things off for people on replay, so if you guys are not watching live and if you want to see the callers segment, odds are you might not see it there, because I don't want to be too long-winded of a post-game show for my replay viewers, so apologies in advance there. But again, everybody, happy to have you all in here, folks. Now let's let it rip with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Yeah, shout out to my guys, Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Vincent, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Vincent says, let's go Mets. GERRIT Cole never had a chance. He certainly did not. GERRIT Cole entered tonight's start against the Metropolitans with a under 6 ERA, the worst ERA he's had against any individual team, not a team, of course, he's playing with, obviously, that he's facing his MLB career. And today, the Mets light him up like never before. His worst start on giving up the home run ball in over 2 years or so. It's his second game back from injury. The velo was down, GERRIT Cole was vulnerable, and the Mets pounced, as they have been with this offense, which currently ranks #1 in all Major League Baseball and team OPS since the start of June. Yoshima with the $5 holla. Thank you so much for that, Yoshima. Greatly appreciate that. Yoshima says, Kermit Cole is cooked. I totally didn't shit my pants at the end there. Certainly not, right? Appreciate the donation, Yoshima. Great member here in the chat, as always, everybody. Again, everybody first chiming in live on a replay, smash that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciate, folks, and continue to spam and let me know your biggest takeaways from the Metropolitans winning a sweaty one, but an entertaining one, headlined by Mark Vientos. Marky V Bombs is showcasing why he is now the franchise #1 third baseman. He is our third baseman for the foreseeable future, and that should not change in any stretch of the imagination, folks. Also, everybody, in case you guys and gals haven't seen the news, I know that this isn't baseball related, but it's New York sports related, and this impacts a lot of people probably watching the show. And as a Knicks fan myself, and I apologize to my Brooklyn Nets fans, I'm about to heartbreak and upset, but let's be real here. I'm a Knicks fan. I love the Nova boys. I reside less than an hour away from Nova's campus. I watched those guys win it all back in the day. I saw Jalen, I saw Josh, I saw Dante, I saw Ryan before him getting traded, of course. Now enter Mikal Bridges is coming to town. He's going to be playing at the Garden as a New York Knickerbocker. How can you not be pumped up about that? Shout out to my Knicks fans. A monstrous trade, a boatload of protected first, but I do not care. The first team in not Major League Baseball, but in the NBA that's repping a core 4 of all teammates during their time in college. That is absolutely sick. You never see that happen, and I'm so pumped up to call myself a Knicks fan right now, and I cannot wait for next season, what that has entailed for us Knicks fans. But all right, we talked about the Knicks. Let's talk about the Mets here. Let's get into this matchup as we always do, everybody. Again, spam those W's. Continue to do that in the live chat in case you guys haven't already. Just give me 1 second to get some water here, and then we're going to get on with the show. Let's see. Wardy name drop. What are we talking about? Wardy name dropping. Enlighten me, my friend. Cameron with the $5 donation. Thank you so much for that. No shot they play tomorrow. They need a damn roof since NYC is turning into South Florida. Great win tonight, though. Oh, I didn't realize the forecast was that bad tomorrow. If so, you hate to see it. But what I don't hate to see is the Metropolitans absolutely pistol whipping and curb stomping the New York Yankees, headlined by Gerrit Cole with a putrid start today. LTC Cherno with the $5 donation says, Vientos supporters continue to eat. Someone tell Steinbrenner there's no refunds on Cole's contract. Also call a wellness check on poor Reed Garrett. Yes, I love you, Reed Garrett, but when you're throwing meatballs right down the pipe on an 0-2 count, bases loaded, 2 outs to the best hitter in baseball imaginable, and Aaron Judge, odds are that thing's going to go far for a grand slam. And color me surprised, that's exactly what happened. Thankfully, even with that bullpen implosion the Mets had, it wasn't enough because the offense has prevailed. The Mets have scored at least 5+ runs in 9 of their last 18 games, and in that stretch as well that we have seen, 5 of those 9 games have incorporated at least 10 runs. The offense has been infectious, it's been consistent, has been early and often, and the Mets continue to absolutely dominate on the offensive end of the ball. Yes, the bullpen has major issues. Yes, it sucks when you're down with Edwin Diaz officially starting his suspension today, so he's out for the next 10 games, unfortunately. An absolute joke that is. And yes, Sean Reed-Foley's out with injury right now, so it isn't that much more ideal either, but rest assured, this bullpen, again, while it wasn't pretty, it didn't screw the Mets enough because 9 runs was a difference in this one. But now let's hop into it, folks. Let's break down the ball game and everything that transpired in this matchup, inning by inning, as we always do. And again, thank you all so much for the support, as always, folks. Bear with me 1 second. I just want to make sure live here on Twitter that I'm linked under the Mets tweets, because I usually do that, especially when I'm live here. So just give me 1 second, everybody, and then we will continue on with the show. We're already over 400 live concurrent viewers here on Twitter, very similar to what we have here on YouTube. So happy to have you all in here, folks, and continue to let me know your immediate reactions to the Mets taking care of business here against the New York Yankees by a final score of course, 9-7. Let's go, boys. Absolutely electric win tonight. You love to see it. And honestly, as much as I hate to see the Mets bullpen get taxed the way it did today, I'm not looking forward to how that'll match up for them should they play tomorrow. I love when it's entertaining baseball between these two teams. The Subway Series is always beyond entertaining, so to see the Mets come out and be early and often with their offense was absolutely electric, and I greatly appreciate that. A couple key updates for you all before we get into breaking down the ballgame a bit more. As we discussed in our pregame show today, Starling Marte is unfortunately out now for at least a month with a deep bone bruise there in his knee leg area, so he's going to be out for a bit. Is not going to do any baseball activities for the next 2 weeks per Carlos Mendoza. And Ben Gamel, who's been raking out the AAA level, veteran outfielder, former Yankee. Funny, we saw JD Davis, former Met, do his best I'm a Met impression because he helped out the Mets in more ways than one. And we'll get into JD Davis's putrid day at the plate and get into why everything went right for the Mets on the offensive end here in just a second. But Ben Gamel, who has an over 300 average and a just under 900 OPS in AAA this season, repping 7 home runs, 24 RBIs, and a couple stolen bags, has defensive versatility in the corner outfield, is a lefty bat option off the bench outside of DJ Stewart, and is a higher contact king versus, say, a Trace Thompson, who's definitely more hit or miss, especially even at the AAA level, batting just around 220 or so. So Ben Gamel gets the call-up. Excited to see how he does in this stint for however long he's with the Mets before they say make a different decision with the roster, with Marte being out with injury. And Kodai Senga, big update on him, folks. Starting next week, we may see Kodai Senga officially begin his rehab assignment. He is, in fact, Kodai Senga is in a position where after throwing a live bullpen, he'll have one more this week. Then next week, as everything looks right, he will start to face, of course, live batters on a rehab assignment. Senga, of course, who has yet to pitch for the Mets this season, dealing with multiple ailments after starting the year on the injured list, is looking to have an impact for the Mets down the stretch post-All-Star break this season. So that is the latest updates on all that, everybody. Yes, we are beyond pumped up about the the Mikal Bridges news too for my Knicks fans out there. You love to see it. Let's see, and I do see an update on Isaiah Hartenstein, and that unfortunately it's unlikely that the Knicks will be able to retain him. That's a heartbreaker, but I'm not shocked by that. Wherever you land, Isaiah, if it's not the Knicks, I wish you the absolute best in your future endeavors. But getting back into this one, let's break down the ball game, everybody. Again, the Mets got the job done, to say the least. And it starts here in this Subway Series. You got David Pearson against Gerrit Cole. Cameron Kier, of course, with the $5 donation, says they're saying 80% chance of thunderstorms after 5 p.m. tomorrow. Should have moved it to an afternoon game to get ahead of it. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Cameron, and I'm unfortunately not looking forward should there be a rainout tomorrow. But with an off day Wednesday and the Mets staying home, it wouldn't shock me if they try to have it be off day Thursday, rather, if they squeeze it in there. But I also don't know the Yanks schedule. So if the Yanks don't have an off day, then obviously I understand why Thursday wouldn't work for them. No less, as we see in the first inning, Anthony Volpe, who's been fantastic as a young, exciting shortstop for the Yankees. No, he's not the best shortstop in the American League. No, he's not even top 3, but he's absolutely quickly climbing up the ladder. He just needs to get past guys, of course, headlined by Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar, I love me some Gunnar. But Volpe rips a single to lead off the ballgame here against David Pearson. Juan Soto gets on via walk, future Met, of course, if you know, you know, and that's going to ruffle Yanks fans' feathers, even though we've been saying that shit since Soto was a national, so I don't want to hear the nonsense of like, you know, oh, you're just saying this now because he's a Yankee. No, bud, look at our tweets. We've been saying it since Soto quite literally got traded from the Padres, even before then, because we've seen him up close more than any other team that, of course, you know, was outside of the NL East. No less, Soto gets on with a walk, Judge with a walk, bases loaded, no out. You're not looking good to start your game if you are, in fact, David Pearson, the Metsies here. But you know what the Mets do? You know what David Pearson does? He gets out of the jam unscathed. He strikes out the side beautifully, first with Gleyber Torres. Something him and Jeff McNeil have in common are two guys that likely won't be second basemen for their respective teams at the end of the season at absolute latest. Gleyber continues his underwhelming play with a strikeout on high heat that was well out of the zone, got him to chase, just like me when I play MLB 2K against my buddy Jonah. If Jonah's watching this, he knows he knows. Verdugo with a strikeout, and JD Davis, former Met, now foe, first game with the Yanks, he strikes out with bases loaded, 2 out to end the inning. We see in the bottom of the first, Francisco Lindor, of course, hitting batting practice off. Cole continues with an opposite field double. Right away, the Mets are in scoring position for Brandon Nimmo that gets on via a walk. JD Martinez unfortunately has a double play. JDM didn't have a great start to the day, but he ended strong, and that's the most important thing. Alonso with the walk. So the Mets, again, they return the favor at bases loaded themselves. Francisco Alvarez with a walk, 2 makes it happen. For Tyrone Taylor with an RBI single there, makes it a 1-0 ball game. And for whatever reason, Mike Sarbaugh said to Pete Alonso, let's round third and go home, even though you're going to be out by a mile. Alonso's out at home, and the Mets still go on to get their first run of the day, up 1-0 against Gerrit Cole and the Yankees. In the top of the second, we see Jose Trevino get on with a hit by pitch, but that's all she wrote. David Pearson with a nice inning, all things considered, including a pair of strikeouts. He's at 5 Ks throughout his first 2 innings of the day. Mark Vientos, Marky V, he rips his 8th bomb of the season, a no-doubter, and Patrick Hennessy, my co-host of the Bridging the Gap podcast, bringing on everything to Mets and Yankees land. We did a series preview show last night, and in said show, Pat did say that he expects a guy like Mark Vientos to hit a solo shot against Cole, and that's exactly what he did. So thank you so much for calling that, Pat. Little did Pat know it would happen more than once. That's something no one could predict in this matchup heading into it. Vientos with his 8th home run of the season increases the Mets lead to 2-0. And Harrison Bader against his former club, we got ourselves some Bader bombs. Rips a no-doubter to left. Harrison, of course, wanting to make it known that he is happy on the Mets and says, F you, Yanks. That's exactly what he does there. Bader, the New York native, playing for both teams, is having an absolute blast here in Queens. And the play continued both on the offensive and defensive end of the ball in this matchup. As we then head to the top of the third here, Aaron Judge gets on with a hit by pitch. That's all she wrote there. David Pearson would strike out a batter and have himself a clean third. In the bottom of the third, Gerrit Cole would have a clean inning as well, outside of walking Francisco Alvarez, who looks better and better every single at-bat out there. My man Jolly Olive tweeted this earlier, and it holds true. Every at-bat for Alvarez is quickly becoming must-see TV. He's so locked in on the plate. If he's down 0-2 in the count, you know he's going to work at a full count. Alvarez is batting right now the way that a true high contact hitter would, but not one that has the immense power that Alvarez provides. So to say I'm excited about Alvarez and the potential he has throughout the remainder of the season is an understatement, to say the least. Dave Kaplitz with the $5 donation. How you doing, all things Mets talk? Happy to have you in here. Dave Great Member says 0-2 to Judge. Just don't throw him down the dick. He did it. Make him fish. But no, grand slam. How stupid do you have to be? But happy with Mets hitting tonight. Yep, that's a normal Mets fan takeaway. Happy about the hitting, but pissed off about Reed Garrett's meatball down the pipe 0-2. I tend to agree with you, Dave, and I greatly appreciate that donation. Thank you very much. But as we go back to breaking down the ball game, we get to the top of the fourth where we see DJ LeMahieu, who has been absolutely useless for the Yanks, is really signing that long-term contract. Who could have saw that coming for, of course, an aging contact hitter? Something Billy Upper I wish noticed with Jeff McNeil, but I digress. As we get into this, we see DJ LeMahieu get on via walk, Trevino with a single, then 2 outs, of course, happened through that. 2 on, 2 out, and then a strikeout ends it, thankfully. And I'm pretty sure that strikeout was thanks to JD Davis. So chef's kiss JD, getting the job done for the Mets in more ways than one. Then we see, of course, in the bottom of the fourth, Mark Vientos with an opposite field home run. His second of the day, just pokes that one, as you see here, and it just gets out. Oh, that was the Brandon Nimmo bomb, I apologize. But Marky V continues to be Swaggy V with that bombs to left and right, showing that he isn't just a true pull hitter, he can go oppo, and he went oppo on Gerrit Cole, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Now, did Gerrit Cole pitch like one of the best Major League pitchers in the game right now? No, of course he didn't. He's still ramping back from injury. I'm aware of that, but it's awesome to see the Mets, and especially a young, vibrant power slugger and Mark Vientos blossom before our very eyes and show that this is not a fluke, and he is quite literally looking like our franchise third baseman, as long as this man can make sure that his defense doesn't hurt the Mets as much as maybe it has in the past where the bat hasn't shown up. The bat has been so superior that it's made up for those defensive miscues, playing too deep, having errors here or there, but at the core of it, Mark Vientos, continue to bat the way that you are, and great things are going to happen for this Mets team and for this offense. And as we continue to break down said ball game, again, the Mets are rolling here early. We're loving the production. They get a bomb there from Marky V to make it 2-0 Metsies. And Jeff McNeil, I got to give credit where credit's due. I have been very difficult on Jeff McNeil this season for obvious and justified reasons. However, McNeil getting the start today against Gerrit Cole and against the Yanks. He had a favorable matchup, but I still wasn't happy, because why do favorable matchups matter when he hasn't done that in recent years against Cole, when that only means so much with the way he's been not performing the past year and a half? McNeil, however, proves me wrong a bit today and was productive. And again, if you're going to get playing time, no matter how long or short you're going to be in the organization, if you're going to play, I want you to succeed. And McNeil did that today with an opposite field single. He snapped his brutal 0-for-16 skid, and then Brandon Nimmo drives him in with a 2-run shot to right to give the Mets a now towering, we're looking at a 7-0 lead, right? We're up 4-0, pardon my French. No, it's 6-0. I'm an idiot. My apologies, folks. So we're up around 6-0 here through 4. As we then get to the top of the 5th, because Brandon Nimmo ripping bombs, baby. We love to see it. That is my two-hole hitter every day of the week and on Sundays. Juan Soto, though, does Juan Soto things. He rakes at Citi Field, and of course, he was going to dabble in the arts today. He rips a solo shot to right. That makes it a 5-run deficit for the Yanks, and Gleyber Torres gets on with a walk. Verdugo with a walk, and David Pearson's final line, folks, is as follows. It is 4 innings of course, 1 earned run ball. David Pearson was very sharp in this matchup, just couldn't go deep because he was walking a lot of guys and striking out guys. That's a recipe for a high walk rate. And I wasn't happy about the walk rate today. I was not happy about his ability to not go deep at all, but 4.1 innings of 3 hit, 1 earned run, 5 walk, 8 strikeout ball. Got the job done for the Mets, but I definitely want to know on a scale 1 to 10, where would you rate David Pearson's start today? Because for me personally, I'm still going to have to ponder it and think about it before we get on to our pitching report presented from my great pitching contributor on the channel for nightly contribution, my man Isaac Rothman, that I'm going to talk about a little bit more later into this matchup here. But David Pearson, want to know your thoughts on him and his start today, but he is out of the ball game here in the 5th with a pair on for Mr. Daniel Nunez, in which Nunez with 2 on, 2 out gets a first pitch double play ball, 2 on, 1 out rather, a first pitch double play ball from former Met now foe and JD Davis. So JD Davis starts his day by striking out with bases loaded and 2 out, striking out in his second at bat, and grounding into an inning-ending double play in his third. JD Davis, thank you so much for your service, brother. I'm happy to see that things haven't changed so much since you've left Queens. All right, getting into the bottom of the fifth here, we would see former Met, now foe, Mr. Bickford come in to face, of course, the Mets. Bickford was put on the waiver wire by the Mets earlier this year. Yanks picked him up, and he was, okay, I guess, as we get into this one. He gives up an infield hit to Alvarez. It hits off of Bickford, like hits off the glove. Nothing else transpires there. We get to the bottom of the sixth. We advance it in here, so McNeil gets on with a opposite field single and stolen base. Then we see Harrison Bader, pardon me, everybody. Then we see Harrison Bader get on with a single. So already McNeil and Bader, 2 singles and 2 stolen bags. Runners at second and third with no outs. Brilliant base running, brilliant awareness by both Jeff and Bader. They deserve a lot of credit there. Loving the base running awareness and the aggressiveness today against this Yanks team. A Lindor strikeout later leads to a JD Martinez RBI double straight down the middle to center. Aaron Judge is playing shallow. Imagine not playing deep for Mr. JD Martinez, who is notorious for his center to right field power. Hilarious stuff. Judge has to go back on the ball, not there in time. That increases the Mets lead to 7-1. And after we see that JD Martinez RBI double, Alonso makes it an 8-1 ball game this time, or 9-1 rather. I was a runoff there, calling me surprised. Alonso with an RBI sac fly increases the Mets lead. We're up by 8 here. Alvarez then would be robbed of a bloop single that potentially would have drove in another run, thanks to what we saw there with Aaron Judge with a beautiful diving catch in shallow center field. So Judge, who played too shallow to the JDM double, makes up for it to a degree with that diving catch to end the inning. At the top of the seventh then, Anthony Volpe reaches on a Nunez error who could not get the catch at first base. The throw from Alonso is fine, just was not able to get the job done there. Judge with an RBI double increases decreases the deficit rather. So the Yanks are down 7 here. It's a 9-2 ball game. And afterwards, we would see also the Knicks are still determined to keep OG Anunoby in free agency, everybody, for my Knicks fans out there curious about that. I see a bunch of donations that we're going to get to shortly. Thank you all so much for that, everybody. And if you're a reoccurring member, a new subscriber, or a reoccurring one, thank you all so much for taking the time to smash a like and subscribe button. And stay tuned. Once I'm done rambling and breaking down this ball game and getting into our amazing sponsors at Sora MLB and BetUS, we will be taking live callers from you amazing Mets fans because I want you guys to have your voice heard tonight. But again, that'll only be available for my live viewers, and for my replay viewers, things will be cut off probably an hour or two after the show's been live here on the platform. Thank you so much for understanding. But as we continue to break down this ball game again, we would then see there, after of course Bickford gives up those runs, and we see the Judge and the Yanks retaliate back. It's a 7-run ball game for Adam Ottavino. Surely things won't go awry, right? Surely. Little did I know. Rice with a single, Grisham with a walk for Adam. Danny Young comes in. Adam Ottavino, who pitched over 40-plus pitches and garbage time for the Mets the last time out there because they were blowing out in their last victory, was absolutely putrid today. Adam Ottavino did not do the Mets any favors. Danny Young comes in, and he doesn't do the Mets too many favors either, as he gives up an RBI single to Wells to make it a 6-run deficit. Volpe with a strikeout. Soto walks for Reed Garrett. That bases loaded, 2 out. And as we discussed plenty already, Reed Garrett gets a meatball down the pipe that we see there. And he's facing Aaron Judge, arguably the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Of course he takes him deep. Judge with a grand salami, another day on the block for him. And for the Mets, it's now a 2-run ball game. On the top of the 8th, Lindor would get on with a single-turn double thanks to DJ LeMahieu having a Gleyber Torres impression. 2 guys that simply do not know how to play defensive baseball tonight. We saw Gleyber completely miss a grounder by Nimmo that drove in a run, and then in the case of DJ here, just a simple play cannot handle at the corner. DJ's bat has been putrid. The defense is getting worse. Just a guy that's on that roster because of the contract, i.e. a Jeff McNeil impression. No less, nothing else transpires there, and as we get on to the 9th, the boys get the job done. Again, it was not a pretty game by any stretch by the Mets here, but they did what they needed to do. Reed Garrett gets the final outs in this one, a stressful one to say the least. He gives up those runs, he gives up the grand salami, but Reed Garrett still ends up with the save in the end as the Mets again go on to win by a final score of 9-7. So we're going to get into all the numbers and the key takeaways in this one here shortly, everybody, but continue to let me know your thoughts on this 9-7 victory for the Mets. What stood out the most to you and why? Because for me, if we're picking up a Wardy's player of the game, it is of course, drumroll please, our man, Mark Vientos. So Marky V goes 2 for 5 today, or 2 for 4, with 2 runs scored, 2 home runs, and 2 walks, a 297 average and a 925 OPS for my third baseman. How are you not pumped up about that, right? Dave, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Dave says, Soto homer, not upset. We'll see plenty of that next year. Wink face. Appreciate the donation, Dave. If you know, you know. Scott with the $5 holla. Scott says, you have to love how Aaron Judge plays the game. I love everything about Aaron Judge. I hate the fact that he's on the Yanks, because if he wasn't on the Yanks, I would appreciate him so much more as an athlete. Down 9-1, making that diving catch, saving a run. Don't have to like him, but have to respect. No, I like Aaron Judge. I don't dislike Aaron Judge. I've always been a Judge lover and a guy that I wish greatness for. I just hate the fact that he's on the Yankees. That's all, but it is what it is. You have to give the Yanks credit, too, for helping him blossom into the amazing hitter that he's become now. Both those things go in hand. I can't sit here and confidently say that if the Mets drafted Aaron Judge, they would have gone this type of Aaron Judge right away. They would have probably gave up on him too soon, like the idiot organization that they were with hitting development for many years. Professional Certified Hater with a $5 donation says, I'm sorry, but that pitch to generational player like Judge with the bases loaded straight down the pipe is one of the worst pitches I've ever seen. Yeah, it was horrendous. And I feel pretty confident to say that Alvarez wasn't the one to call that. I hope not, because if so, holy shit, Alvy, how or could you be that out of it, if that makes sense? I don't foresee that to be the case. Just poor placement there, unfortunately, to say the least. William, thank you so much for the kind words. Again, I appreciate that regarding my newborn son, Shay. He has been feeling electric about these Metsian victories the same way I have here at home, everybody. Mets runs over Yankees runs. Doesn't matter how close or terrible. It's a win. A win's a win in here. Let's see. Plus 240, I bet that hard. Wow, there you go. Okay. The Mets, again, were the money line underdog entering this matchup. So if you guys saw on a pregame show and hammered our line with our amazing friends at BetUS, America's #1 sportsbook, by clicking the unique link down below today, hope you guys won big. Again, the Mets were a money line underdog at plus 140, and we're at plus 1.5 there on the spread with solid odds. So whoever hammered the underdog today was feeling biased with your Mets picks. Today was certainly the day to do so against the big bad Yankees. And guys, we're almost at 200 likes already here in the live show on YouTube. Thank you all so much for that. Continue to smash those buttons. Greatly appreciate, folks. In the meantime, I'm going to get everything set up because I was just missing two simple things on my graphic here for you guys. I'm going to show you here briefly in regards to the hitting and, of course, on the pitching. But before we get into everything that you guys need to know on these numbers, I first have to let you know about an amazing sponsor, as we are doing an awesome giveaway with your chance to not only win Mets tickets, but also for your chance to get quite literally a free ride to the MLB All-Star break, should you and maybe your loved ones have interest. We're going to discuss that here in a second, but before we do, let me update these numbers. These 7 numbers are from Mets last game 2 days ago, so let's put in the Mets current numbers. There we go. Again, David Pearson's final line: 4.1 innings of 3 hit, 1 earned run, 5 walk, 8 strikeout ball for David Pearson. An absolutely baller outing when it came to the strikeouts, but horrendous when it came to the walks. And just, again, worked the count so often today. I've yet to really describe how I truly feel about David Pearson's outing. I'm going to let that marinate, and I will have an answer for you guys here shortly. Let's see this. Congratulations on graduating high school tomorrow, Harrison. That's fantastic, my friend. Steven Smith, thank you so much for the membership, my man. Happy to have you in here. Tim, the bunnies are great. I actually showed the bunnies briefly in our pregame show earlier today, so check that out, guys, in case you haven't already. I did it before the end of the show because people were asking. I'm like, you know what, let's show off the bunnies. Peter with the $2 donation, thank you so much. He says Mets should keep Bader and Sevy, keep winning players. I agree, and even though the Mets will likely buy and sell by the deadline, those are guys that you could rightfully argue, especially with Marte out for a month now, it's hard to justify parting ways with Bader, and it's even more hard to justify parting ways with an electric arm right now and Mr. Luis Severino. Congrats, thank you so much, Nolan, greatly appreciate that. Juan Diaz, great member of Mod in here. Enzo, Lisi, Mr. Delightful, how are you, my friends? Happy to have you all on here, folks. But everybody, briefly, let's talk about my amazing friends and amazing sponsor here on the channel, if I haven't already, and I have plenty already. McBland with a $10 donation is going to hold me up for a second. He says, I honestly didn't think Viento's second homer or Judge's slam was going out. Ball was definitely carrying. But what happened to Ottavino? Up 6 runs, can't throw strikes. Alvy called for fastball to Judge, by the way. Okay, so Alvy did call a fastball to Judge. I don't like that at all. I like to think that he called fastball down and away out of the zone. That's the only way I think makes sense, because that was piss poor location by Reed Garrett. I don't like the call, because Reed Garrett, he's not even the guy on an 0-2 count. That doesn't make sense to me. But again, I can sit here and complain as a fan. I'm curious. I wish I was a fly on a wall in that situation as they were interacting with each other. Straight talk with Jack Graham, great member. Happy to have you in here. Greatly appreciate that. McBlam, though, thank you for that donation again. I did not expect the Vientos 2-homer game, nor did I expect, what happened at the end of the ball game. It was a lot of great and a lot of bad, and the Mets still secure the victory, everybody. And now to hop into this one briefly, our amazing friends at BetUS, pardon me, not BetUS, we're going to start with Sorare MLB. Sorare MLB is, of course, the best MLB fantasy game out there, everybody, and we are doing a promo with them like never before. Simply put, guys, if you know Sorare MLB, it is the best MLB fantasy game in the game right now, and if you guys like MLB The Show, it's very similar, as it's essentially a virtual game where you're being your own GM, you're building your own roster, and you're using virtual cards that you can either get for free by drafting them and building your team in the app by, of course, using my unique link in the description down below today through our live show whenever you guys have the chance to do so to sign up for free. Or you, of course, can spend dollars and win cards in these tournaments that you enter, and again, buy, sell, and trade said cards in the marketplace for real dollars. That's why these gold cards are limited, because they're actual cards that you, of course, can acquire doing well in tournaments, or, of course, if you do bad in tournaments, you can acquire them as well by buying, selling, or trading your cards in the marketplace. And as you build these tournaments, and how you perform in said tournaments, I should say, is based on how the players perform in real life. So I did absolutely fantastic in my past tournament that ended yesterday. Now today I have one going right now, and I have WardyNYM on my other roster. He's raking again already 40. We see 40 points for Gunnar Henderson, 28 here for WardyNYM, 12 that I just saw for Logan Hoppy that's cut out that you guys can't see at the moment. And if you guys enter Sorare MLB today, again, the best MLB fantasy game out there, where you guys can win cash prizes, Mets ticket prizes that we're about to explain, all these other type of giveaways, all just for playing the game and entering tournaments. How can you go wrong? Check them out today, because we're doing 2 amazing giveaways. The first, we're giving away Mets tickets, folks. In the coming days, we will pick winners. We're going to pick 3 lucky Mets fans that have signed up with our unique link and have drafted and entered a tournament as soon as they can with Sorare MLB. That's all you guys got to do for your steps to get free to play should you wish, and you're automatically entered. We are picking, again, 3 lucky winners to win Mets tickets for any games that you want to go to this season. We're already picked 5+ winners a month plus ago on the channel. They already got hooked up. They're good to go. I hope to see many of you amazing Mets fans win this one in the coming days. So enter that. And secondly, guys, the big promo we're doing at Sorare MLB is the true MLB All-Star Collection event that actually, my mistake, folks, this one has just ended. So I'm actually going to backtrack on that for a second. But no less, everybody, again, when it comes to Sorare MLB, if you want free Mets tickets, rest assured, all you got to do is sign up with our great friends today. And again, thank you all so much in advance for doing so. Shout out as always to Sorare MLB. But to hop back in this one, folks, now let's get into the pitching. Let's talk about what stood out on the pitching end. We'll talk about the offense, and then we'll get to your amazing live calls that will take up probably a good portion of the show as well, folks. And it starts here that we see with the pitching end, because we saw David Pearson again, very unique outing for him. You got the strikeout pitcher that you saw plenty of in the 2022 season. However, you got the lack of depth, which has been a continued issue with someone like him for a good stretch of time now. So as we get into my man Isaac Rothman's report, for those that don't know Isaac Rothman, follow him on Twitter at ISAACGROFFMAN for pitching threads and just fantastic Mets analysis as a diehard young Mets fan. And he provides information for me on how these pitchers do each night, more information than what the eye test and what the broadcast will give you. A lot of these numbers come from Baseball Savant among the other websites, should you guys go out and try to seek it. But when breaking down the ball game here on the pitching end, we see David Pearson is as follows. Sinker was 31% of the arsenal tonight at 93 miles per hour where he sat. 96 is where he topped out. Four seam, 27% of the arsenal, sat 94, topped out 96.5. Changeup, 21% of the arsenal, was right around 85 miles per hour. Slider, 14% of the arsenal, right around 86 miles per hour. And the curveball, just 8% of the arsenal, was right around 79 miles per hour. Peterson had his best start in terms of swing and miss that we saw but in his last start, but that was even better tonight that we saw with 8 strikeouts. You know, he had a season high 13 whiffs on those 8 Ks today. Absolutely working these Yankees hitters that are known for being a big boomer bust team, especially after losing Giancarlo Stanton. There's a lack of depth there in that order. And I know Stan's big boomer bust, but when he's swinging well, and he was up until his injury recently, Stanton will always make you pay, especially at Citi Field. So the Mets lucked out not having to face him in this 2-game set. You know, however, his slider that we saw wasn't really working. He only threw it 14% of the time, and the velo is down a bit, so something to make note of there with Peterson. You know, instead of utilizing his changeup as his main K pitch, he got 6 whiffs on it, a 46% whip percentage overall on the pitch. So definitely a nice thing to see there. Roughly 50% whiff rate. So guys are swinging big time on that pitch. The fastball velo, both on the 4-seam and the sinker, were up a tick. His velo overall is up 2 ticks from last year, so something to make note of as well. Velo, while it isn't drastic, is slightly growing higher and higher for David Pearson, the Mets young southpaw. His 8 strikeouts tonight came with the price of 5 walks, unfortunately, as his 4-seam fastball was a bit all over the place that we noticed. Again, he struggled to locate that four seam. Thankfully, it didn't hurt him too much, and if he's giving up a bomb, Juan Soto is one of the select few guys you're likely going to give up a bomb to and just tip your cap. Peterson is trying to find the balance between his four seam swing and miss approach as ground ball sinker approach. As I mentioned in our pregame show earlier today, the fact that he's still able to throw that four seam and sinker at similar rates shows that he's trying to find a way to incorporate both of those into his arsenal. My man Isaac gave him a rating of 6 out of 10 on the start today. Again, David Pearson, for me, when he came and go 5 innings, I can't go past a 5 out of 10 on my rating. So while he was effective, I want length from this bullpen. A lot of the relievers had to eat some innings today, unfortunately, and had to be utilized 3 in 1 inning, which is always frustrating for a shortened bullpen, down a man as is, and Edwin Diaz for the next 10 days, including tonight's game. I'm going to go with 5 out of 10. I definitely want to know where you guys stand, everybody watching live in the comments down below. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate David Pearson's start tonight for the Metsies? Let me see it. Daniel Nunez, however, had himself a 40% whiff rate on a slider tonight, and he also has 23.6 whiff percentage overall, which is in the 92th percentile for a slider whiff percentage among all pitchers available in Major League Baseball. So that slider has been an absolute thing of beauty when it has been right for Nunez, and of course, outside of giving up the early offense that he did, he really hankered down and looked fantastic for the Mets in this matchup. Cannot complain much at all with what you're going to get from Mr. Daniel Nunez, who won 2.2 innings of 1 earned run ball, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts. No walks is what I love from my reliever, especially if you're going to eat over 2 innings, of which Daniel did beautifully today for the Mets, all things considered. But that's what you got for the Mets, of course, on the pitching end of everybody. Now talking about what you got from the Mets here on the offensive end before we take your amazing live callers. Continue to let me know your thoughts in the chat here, folks. Greatly appreciate that. Someone in the chat said free Priest. I'm not sure what happened there to my man Priest. He's probably, what's happening? He's not talking because we actually see Lindor balling out. I don't know what's happening there. But let's get into the hitting, because this is what stood out huge for the Mets on the offensive end. Just hitters galore today for the Mets. They out hit the Yankees 12-7, a 293 average on the expected batting average to the Yankees 289. So close, but again, there was some differences here. Francisco Lindor continues his leadoff heroics that we just saw, and my goodness gracious, he continues to go doubles and home runs galore. This is the Francisco Lindor that we saw last year, folks, when he was at his best. Again, wasn't high on the contact, but Priest got timed out for nothing from your mod. Okay, let's see what happened there. Hold on, let's pump the brakes. Let's go up in the chat. Let's make sure that Priest comes back in this one. Now, we're going to fix that. Let's see this. Oh, it was just deleted? Okay. No, he shouldn't be hidden. Priest, if you hear me, everything is good on that from my man. Whoever timed Priest out, though, guys, please, Priest gets a pass with anything he says. He's just a diehard Mets fan that lets it rip and loves to chop it up and loves to, of course, ruffle some feathers, if you will. I know he can say some weird stuff at times for sure, but don't. Priest is an OG. So I don't know what happened there, but let's try to get him back. Upgrade membership. Thank you so much again. Appreciate that a lot, my friends. You guys are the absolute best. Let's see. He didn't sort Lindor. Yes, we love ourselves some Francisco Lindor. He was just being Priest. Yep, if you know, you know. So hopefully we get him back. Also, 30 likes away here from 200 in the live show, everybody. Thank you so much for that. Continue to smash that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciate. But speaking of Francisco Lindor here again, Lindor, 2 for 5 that we saw today, including a 244 average and a 747 OPS now in the season. Brandon Nimmo that we see. Brandon Nimmo continues to look great in the 2-hole. 2 for 4 with the bomb, 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored for Nimmo, and a walk, 245 average and a 797 OPS on the season. Juan, it's okay if he was saying weird stuff. Again, I know he doesn't mean any harm. So if you see it again, leave him be. As long as he's not saying shit that's like, okay, we need to throw this guy out of the chat, then I understand. JD Martinez 1 for 5, including the RBI double, dead center, getting past Aaron Judge, 288 average and 863 OPS on the season. Pete Alonso 1-0 for today, including a walk, 240 average, 788 OPS on the season for Big Meat Pete, Polar Bear Pete, Pistol Pete, whatever you want to call him. Francisco Alvarez 1 for 2 today with a pair of walks, 290 average, 821 OPS for my amazing catcher. Tyrone Taylor commanding right field with Sterling Marte out for injury, 1 for 4 with an RBI today, some clutch 2-out hitting, 238 average and a 626 OPS on the season. Mark Vientos continues his absolute home run heroics, hitting his 8th and 9th home run of the season, first to left, second opposite field to right, 2 for 4 with a couple RBIs on the bombs, the 2 runs scored, 297 average and a 925 OPS for Marky V, Swaggy V, whatever you want to call him. We saw Jose Iglesias come in for defensive replacement to end the ball game there at the hot corner as well. Jeff McNeil with one of his better offensive days in a minute, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 216 average, 579 OPS on the season for the veteran lefty bat. Harrison Bader 2 for 4 with the bomb and 2 runs scored, Bader killing it against his former team, 272 average and a 723 OPS on the season. So that is what you got, guys, so far on the offensive end. Juan, I appreciate that. Thank you for understanding. Again, sometimes if you guys don't know, like certain reoccurring viewers, like OGs, if you guys are moderators, that's why you could get like acting, okay, why is this guy acting like this? Priest has a whole shtick where every single show he comes in, he tries to rag on someone because he just wants to see them do well. He was going after Lindor so hard. He's done it very little now, and he's just trying not to get hurt as a Mets fan that has gotten hurt many times, which I know a lot of Mets fans can relate with, right? Let's see, everybody. I'm a Knicks fan, as am I, Alex. You heard that here first. We're all pumped up. My man, if you guys don't know him, Knicks Media, my man Richie Melora, who covers the Knicks at Knicks Media, Jets at Jets Media, and is a part of the AFC East Roundtable channel. He just went live covering his Knicks making a absolute monster move, acquiring Mikal Bridges. I've done content on that Knicks channel plenty with Richie over the past couple years. I'm sure we will again this offseason. So excited about the Mikal Bridges news. But make sure to check out that live show if you're a Knicks fan at any point in the near future, in case you guys and gals haven't already. Thank you so much in advance for doing so, and shout out to my man Richie. 20 likes away from 200 in the live show. You guys are absolutely amazing, folks. You really are. All right, folks, I definitely want to get to your live callers here in just a minute. But before I do, let's just take a quick word from our amazing sponsor on the channel, folks, and how you guys and gals can get involved today for all your sports betting needs. Another platform where we are doing fantastic Metsian giveaways with, and it's all thanks to our amazing sponsor and friends at BetUS. Make sure to check out our great friends at BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Oh, I saw someone in the chat says, why was Vientos' stat there and not why was Iglesias' stats there and not Vientos? That's because how my stats are, automated, it updates with the guys who batted last, who were in those positions last. So because Vientos didn't finish the game, that's why you didn't see his numbers there. And that's why I read them all off through Baseball Savant usually as I break this down. But all right, guys, to talk about BetUS here briefly again, the best sportsbook out there in America today for all your sports betting needs. We're going to take a look here on the slate of tomorrow's baseball games. And I definitely want to know your opinion on them briefly for my sports bettors. Of course, make sure you guys bet responsibly. Again, for all your sports betting needs, BetUS has you covered. We've been doing really good on our bets as of late on the channel, so for the people that have tailed, you're welcome. If you haven't tailed, I highly implore you to get involved sooner rather than later, because we got the Baltimore Orioles at a minus 180. As much as I love the Orioles, I hate how much of a money line favorite they are against a team with over 20 wins above 500. So I'm actually not going to go with the O's there as much as I love them. Red Sox against Jays, however, absolutely love that. I really do, at minus 150. And then we, of course, have the Mets tomorrow. And I'm not overly confident with the Mets per se yet and how they're going to go, but they are the money line underdog. So I'm going to take the Mets at spread tomorrow, which means that they just need to make sure that they win or make sure that they do not lose by any more than 1.5 runs. I think that's very feasible for a Mets team tomorrow, even with Luis Gil on the bump, as Luis Gil got rocked his last start. And again, the Mets are beating up on pretty much all pitching that they're seeing right now. And that's definitely an encouraging thing to see versus the Mets not doing any of this previously this season. It's 10 to win, almost $19 on the 2-leg parlay for the Red Sox money line tomorrow, and Mets run line at plus 1.5. So again, guys, should you tail, just make sure you bet responsibly, and good luck to you all with our amazing friends at BetUS. But to hop back into this one now, folks, let's get to your live callers. It is the time. We cannot waste any more time. I want to hear from you, amazing Mets fans. So this is where we're going to probably cut things off for people on replay. So everybody that watches on replay, let me know your biggest takeaway from this Mets team victory by a final score of 9-7. Of course, in the comments down below. Mark Vientos continues his home run heroics. The Mets get up early and often on GERRIT Cole. And while the bullpen, of course, tried to ruin the day for the Amazons, the offense prevailed once again for a team that has been oh so red hot throughout the entire month of June. Let us know your thoughts down below. For my replay, for my live viewers, we're going to get on to taking your live calls now for the next half hour or so. For my people on replay, this is where we're cutting things off. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.